Datatag Extreme Qualifying, Josh Brock's third, all three of you under the lap record. Did you find that tough? You were getting right there at the end.
Yeah, it was. I'm actually quite pleased. Not pleased with third, of course, but quite pleased with the lap time. We've sort of most weekends we work on trying to put a good race pace together. Of course, we want to be fastest. That's of course that's what we're trying to do at the same time. But for us, in conversation between sessions, we're really thinking and focusing on what we can do during the race and over the distance. And we've been working on fuel maps to try and use less fuel, so I have to carry less from the start. Try and make the bike a little bit easier to ride at the beginning, and because we've found good improvements in that area of the bike up to this point. And we've made improvements there, so the bike's getting better. My actual fastest lap I did in qualifying was the last lap that I did, and I was trying from the moment the light went green. So I must have done 6 or 8 at least laps of the circuit, and then did my best. So as much as it's a little bit disappointing not to have achieved the pole position, it's actually a lot of positives to take out of that session, and I think we're in good position to put forward a strong race. I mean, I wish I knew the results before we started, but I feel like we're in a position where I can be confident going into tomorrow now.
Thank you. Stuart, runner-up spot, going really well for PBM Kawasaki. Home ground for you. How much does it mean to you on the front row?
Yeah, I think front row was the the goal for most people. Qualifying can go either way, really. I mean, getting into Q2 is not a given. There's the times are so close. There's guys are doing 48.4s and maybe not even making Q2 with that. So I was pleased to get through to that, and then we could get on with the job with the final part of qualifying. And a bit similar to Josh, really, I did my time towards the end of the session with a fair few laps done. But I felt pretty good. Had a little slide at the hairpin, which on my final lap, which was just a fraction slower than my best lap. So I'd be interested to see what that one would have been. But it doesn't really matter anyway. I'm on the front row, PBM 1-2, and it sets us up for tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do.
Well done. Shane Byrne, pole position again, race winner last year. Here, pole position despite clipping the curve and putting it down, but he must be pretty comfortable.
Do you know what? I'm a little bit surprised with the outcome of the qualifying, to be honest, because we all know, or we all have an idea of what we think is an achievable lap time, and I definitely had a plan for the lap time that I thought I could do in that last session, and I pushed hard. I had a couple of laps to get everything up to speed, and then I pushed hard and pushed harder. But it just seemed that every corner exit in that last in the last run, I'd just get a slide. I couldn't get the thing to hook up. But I'd done the time that was good enough for pole, and I'd done a couple that were pretty close too. But I figured maybe there was not quite a the rear tyre wasn't up to the same kind of standard maybe as the ones in the first 2 sessions, because I hadn't been having these issues before. So I thought, okay, we'll just run in a little bit hotter and just be a little bit more careful on the application of throttle. But on my second lap, I think trying that style of riding, I rode up into Clark's and just kind of went in there like normal, but released the brake maybe a little bit quicker to try and roll through a bit faster, and just sort of folded the front tyre. So it's a little bit frustrating, for that to happen at the end. But at the end of the day, the result's good. I'm happy with the result. And as Stuart said, as a PBM 1-2, the times have been incredibly close. But I thought maybe we had another, 2 temps, maybe a tiny bit more. I don't know, maybe 2 temps. But we didn't achieve them today. But I think tomorrow. We've worked really, really hard on race pace. As does everybody. It's what we're here for. If you set your bike up for one fast lap, you're going to struggle in the races. But yesterday morning, our best lap time, which would have probably put us, quite high up the grid now, was on the 33rd lap of a tyre. So I think from a race pace kind of view, we should be pretty cool. And with the times being as close as they are, it should be some pretty exciting racing for you guys to watch.
It's going to be really hard to sustain that race pace, knowing that half a second separates virtually the whole grid.
Yeah, I mean, in qualifying here, it's always the same. It's always really, really difficult. And my aim is always every single session, qualifying session, just to try and get on the front row. I'm not overly fussed about pole position. And that might sound crazy because ultimately that's the ultimate reward for doing a good job. But you know, as long as I'm on the front row, I'm happy because I know that we work hard over the weekend to make sure we're in the mix for the races. And if you start on the front row, you've got as good a chance as anybody. So, yeah, the qualifying, you're right, it is incredibly close. But I think tomorrow you'll see maybe 4 or 5 of us go off at the front a little bit, and hopefully one of us disappear off at the front a little bit more. And then yeah, there'll be some cool battles. But I look forward to it. It's a track that lends itself to close racing, and Josh and I had a good race here last year, and Keogh and I have had some good races here. So Stuart's going to be in the mix for sure because you know he's riding really, really well this weekend, and you know together we're working hard to make the PBM Kawasaki as best it can be. And he's trying some things, I'm trying some things, and then we sort of swap. And you know, development's pushing forward all the time. I think it's really important to work as hard as possible because one thing's for sure, nobody's going to get any slower this year. So we're doing the best job we can, and hopefully that will yield 2 strong results tomorrow.